Coach, Lee Witherspoon appears to kind of played his way into more game reps. What have you seen from him that it's allowed him to do so?
Just some of his veteran experience. It's a young room, and really all three of those guys are pretty consistent in practice, great in the film room, and eager to kind of put their stamp on things. But he deserves a chance to be out there as much as the other two guys do as well. So it's kind of one of those kind of a committee approach a little bit, but he's been doing a good job. I mean, I've been impressed in the last couple of weeks, and he'll continue to get some playing time for sure.
We will go to Tyler Horka.
Yeah, Eric, after Kylan left, obviously Jaquavius has kind of stepped into that lead role, and he's been getting most of the reps. How have you seen him kind of adapt to that, and how do you think he's looked ever since he's kind of been the main guy there?
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent since the time he stepped on campus. He was a mid-year enrollee and had a great kind of first off season for a freshman, and really just intelligent guy when it comes to his assignments and executing his job. So it doesn't really faze him. He's a good kid. He's got a good personality, but he's pretty even keel, so it doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. But it's been fun to see him kind of take some of that on his shoulders. But again, he encourages the other two running backs, and it's a good group right now.
We will go to Joel Coleman.
Coach, when you're a young running back like Marks or Johnson or even Witherspoon, what are some of the things that with this offensive scheme kind of just takes time to master?
Yeah, I think one of the big ones is just kind of in pass protection. Just identifying, first identifying their guy, then be able to execute in pass pro, but also we want to get those guys out in their pass routes as much as possible. So the sharper they are in recognizing blitz, and then getting out, if it's not a blitz, is really kind of that last piece to fine tune. So, defenses are more sophisticated nowadays. So if you don't get out quick enough, then they add on to the blitz. They add into the backfield. And we don't want that. We want them out there catching balls and making people miss in space. So really that's probably the last piece. But otherwise, obviously running the ball and catching the ball is pretty self-explanatory as far as that goes.
We'll go to David Murray next.
Coach, you started a season with a couple of seniors in the backfield at quarterback and running back. Now there are games you're playing a freshman quarterback, a true freshman running back, sometimes two freshman running backs. Have you ever been in a situation like this where your whole backfield is basically first-year guys?
Yeah, I've coached a couple young ones. I mean, this is definitely a youth movement. Keeps me young. I'm getting old. I had my birthday a couple days ago, so they're keeping me on my toes. But it's fun. It's fun that we kind of start from ground zero with these guys and just kind of the way you want them to execute, our offense and kind of coach them and teach them. So they're progressing well. And I mean, the sky is the limit, and bright future ahead of all three of those guys. So I'm excited to see them continue to develop every week, and just kind of keep fine tuning their skills and see where it takes them.
We will go back to Steve Robertson.
Coach, there have been some opt-outs and some transfers, some roster attrition. What's been the attitude in practice for the kind of the remaining group?
It's been good. It's actually been pretty positive and a lot of good tempo in practice. And we always start off with a bull in the ring to kind of kick things off, and that's been pretty ruckus the last couple of weeks. So a pretty good mojo, a pretty good vibe. It's just obviously we're in strange times, and a lot of people out there have bigger issues than we do, and we're grateful to be out there and thankful to be able to be out there and play football and practice and play games. So for the guys that are here, they're all in, and it's been fun to kind of coach this group.
Next, we'll go to Brian Haydad.
And sort of, coming off the question about young players, young running backs, those guys are used to being the focal point of their offense in high school and be touching the ball 30 times a game. What's the message to those guys about being patient and because they're not going to get that kind of touches in this offense?
Yeah, they won't get the touches all on the ground, obviously, right? But I think last time I kind of calculated, we're at 25 or 26 a game, as far as touches goes between catches and runs. So that's going to get distributed kind of amongst the group a little bit. And kind of right now, Jaquavius is in the lead, with just the amount that he's getting. But it's kind of how you want your team to be. You want to be unselfish, you can't stop any one person. To spread the receivers out there and the running backs as well. And you can't double cover somebody, or you can't kind of just single up on one running back and kind of hold the one guy down. So really it's just kind of that mentality that we want, which is, being selfish and root for your teammates. When you get your opportunities, you got to make the most of those opportunities. And so far, those guys, all three of those guys, have been great as far as the way they've handled things.
Anything else for Coach Mele? If not, thanks, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Okay, appreciate you guys. Hail State.